May 10th, 2025. The Galactic Federation kept their promise, and they appeared. May 10th, the beginning of a golden age. UFO footage captured this historic moment. For those following our channel, you'll recognize Elena Danaan and JP, whom we've featured before. Now, at last, we have footage that backs their claims. We are contactees of the Galactic Federation. Yes, they've done it again. And tonight, we want to share this footage with all of you gathered here. Together, we'll explore what really happened that day. So, what's happening around the world right now? One thing is certain. Once you see the real starships of our cosmic friends, you won't be able to look away. May 10th, 2025. A special event took place in Eastbourne, a quiet seaside town in the UK. The organizer of this big event was Dani Henderson. The event was called Galactic and Spiritual Informers Connection, commonly known as G6. Dani is known for her contact experiences with extraterrestrials and spiritual healing. Through G6, she hosts international events sharing information about aliens, UFOs, secret space programs, and contact with extraterrestrials. On the day of the event, about 750 people attended G6. Local residents and tourists also gathered for the night sky observation, bringing the total audience to about 2,500 people. The highlight of this event was JP, a U.S. Army insider previously featured on this channel. Through his ongoing contact, he arranged for an extraterrestrial flyover above Eastbourne, England, specifying the exact time and location. The spacecraft were to fly over the English Channel, and they included triangular TR-3Bs as well as long, cigar-shaped craft. Witnesses say the scene was truly breathtaking. JP is said to have a special connection with beings from both off-world and inner Earth. He carries out ongoing missions in space on behalf of the United States Space Force and is regarded as a truly exceptional individual, possessing advanced consciousness and powerful psychic abilities. On September 27, 2024, in Westminster, Colorado, Elena successfully hosted the world's first UFO flyover, witnessed by over 1,000 people. Following that success, she decided to hand over the lead role in the next extraterrestrial spacecraft flyover event to JP, who had been eager to take on the mission. Many of you may already know about the ship demonstration that took place in Westminster. But for those who don't, let me explain in detail. In fact, this wasn't the first time something like this happened. This is the second time a spacecraft event like this has occurred at a G6 gathering. September 27, 2024. An unprecedented UFO flyover took place above the Westin Hotel in Westminster, Colorado. The event had been announced in advance by Elena Danaan, in cooperation with her contact from the Galactic Federation, Thor Han. Around 1,000 people witnessed the moment with their own eyes. And for those unfamiliar with him, let me briefly introduce who Thor Han is. Thor Han is one of the key figures in the Galactic Federation, with whom Elena Danaan maintains direct contact. According to Elena, Thor Han is a highly intelligent extraterrestrial being from the Pleiades star system. He has wavy blonde hair, aquamarine blue eyes, and serves as the Supreme Commander of the Excelsior Battle Station under the Galactic Federation. His primary role is to mediate communication between extraterrestrial civilizations and humanity, delivering the Federation's guidance, cosmic knowledge, and important messages to Elena and to humankind. His presence has been mentioned in many disclosure-related events, offering people a new sense of connection with the cosmos and hope for the future. Now, returning to the September 27th, 2024 event. Elena asked Thor Han if it would be possible to hold an aerial display above the Westin Hotel in Westminster, Colorado, sometime between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. Thor Han replied, "It can be done." Elena placed her full trust in Thor Han Eridjon, and with just a single word from her, everything began to fall into place. Then, between 9:13 and 9:22 p.m. on that day, a fleet of Galactic Federation reconnaissance ships glided silently across the night sky, flying in a boomerang-shaped formation. After that, a sudden appearance caught everyone by surprise. A black, triangular aircraft known as the TR-3B. This craft flew at high speed, flashing 3 green lights as it passed directly overhead the astonished crowd. What made this event even more extraordinary was that these UFOs appeared within restricted airspace under strict surveillance by NORAD, the North American Aerospace Defense Command. Such a thing would be unthinkable for any conventional aircraft. According to eyewitness accounts, the UFOs were located in the stratosphere, at an altitude of approximately 100 kilometers, and they were bright and active enough to be clearly visible from the ground with the naked eye. This event was more than just a visual spectacle. It deeply moved the participants and filled them with a sense of hope. A large-scale UFO appearance like this marked a historic step toward proving the reality of contact with extraterrestrial beings. On that day, over 1,000 people witnessed the event, and now, on May 10, 2025, a new challenge unfolds, this time in the United Kingdom. On the day of the G6 event, 2,000 people gathered on the grassy field by the sea. The energy of love filled the air, and the sense of hope had never been stronger. A great crowd had come from all over the world, their hearts wide open. JP walked back and forth, beating a drum as he moved through the crowd, calling the starships to appear. Says, "Akuria Mat," and the crowd joined in, repeating after him. By the way, the drum JP was playing is an Irish drum that, according to Elena, she had lent to him for this occasion. JP is also consciously connected to a race of extraterrestrials known as the Nordics. The phrase Akuria Mat is often referred to as a magical phrase, and it carries a deeper meaning. We'll explore that meaning in more detail a bit later. About 30 minutes later, Elena received a message from Thor Han. 2 unmanned reconnaissance ships had departed from Battle Station XLR 6SOL Excelsior and were heading toward the designated location. For those familiar with Elena, you may already know this. Embedded deep within her head is a special device known as a hyperdimensional tracker. This is the technology that allows her to communicate directly with Thor Han. At that moment, watching Elena communicate with Thor Han Eridjon from right beside her was my friend, Myoko Sano, a Japanese truth seeker. She later posted about the experience on her own channel. On that day, she had traveled to the UK and stood right next to Elena, witnessing everything firsthand. Then, about 20 minutes later, another message came from Thor Han. The 2 spacecraft were holding position above the English Channel, waiting for clearance to enter British airspace. However, a minor issue arose. Clearance had initially been granted, but the British authorities were beginning to reconsider their decision. Elena took the microphone and explained the situation to the crowd. At that very moment, a new message came from Thor Han.
"Tell them to look towards the sea."
The spacecraft that had been holding position at high altitude continued blinking for a short while. and then suddenly stopped. And in that instant, the first beautiful craft appeared, hovering silently and gracefully over the sea. The craft hovered for about 30 minutes, gently sliding left and right, and then, under a perfectly clear sky, it suddenly vanished. Witnesses said it looked as if someone had flipped a switch, right in front of hundreds of people. Shortly after, a second craft entered British airspace and flew along the beautiful coastline of England. Then, an aircraft, identified by JP as a fighter jet, moved in to intercept the second UFO. But the craft changed direction with astonishing speed, easily evaded the jet, and moments later the fighter broke off and turned back. Thor Han whispered to Elena, "We'll go around another way." When she passed that message on to JP, he and the crowd witnessed something even more astonishing. At extremely high altitude, numerous ships appeared, flying in every direction. Eventually, 6 of them formed a formation and crossed the sky together. Triangular and cylindrical craft linked to JP's special contacts were also seen. Those who were there that day experienced something truly unforgettable. And once again, G6 was a tremendous success. Now, let's take a closer look at the magical phrase JP was chanting. A curia mat. As mentioned earlier, and in previous videos, JP is a former member of the United States Army, involved in special missions and classified projects. He has revealed that since childhood he's had contact with extraterrestrial beings and advanced civilizations. In particular, he has been involved in secret missions related to ancient civilizations and the legacy of extraterrestrial cultures. He also maintains a deep connection with individuals like Elena Danaan, who have publicly disclosed contact with extraterrestrial civilizations. JP's involvement goes beyond just contact with extraterrestrial beings. He is also deeply engaged with civilizations said to exist within the Earth, as well as ancient spacecraft, known as arcs, that have existed since antiquity. It is said that, due to his unique DNA, JP has the ability to interact with ancient technologies, ones that cannot be activated or operated by anyone else. The phrase, a curia mat, which JP often chants at events, is especially known to be associated with ancient arcs said to exist in the Atlantic region. Here, we'd like to share a story about this magical phrase, a curia mat, as used by JP. According to JP, a huge spaceship, the ancient Ark, was discovered on the ocean floor of the Bermuda Triangle in the Atlantic Ocean. It is said that the ship had been sleeping on the ocean floor for thousands of years. At that time, JP, an active-duty U.S. Army soldier, was tasked with infiltrating the spaceship. On January 10, 2022, a top-secret joint operation was launched in the deep sea of the Bermuda Triangle off the coast of Florida. The team included about 30 U.S. military personnel, including JP, as well as Chinese military personnel, scientists, and indigenous people believed to be descendants of the ancient Aztec civilization. A huge platform was constructed on the ocean's surface, and in the center was an elevator that descended to the deep sea. The team got on the elevator and headed to the bottom of the ocean. There, they discovered a huge egg-shaped spaceship about 1 mile long. It was an ancient ark that had sunk to the bottom of the ocean. As the team members, including JP, approached, the walls of the ship began to glow. Inside the ark was a mysterious inscription. It was Aztec hieroglyphics. Strangely, the ship seemed to screen its passengers. The ship's energy field blocked off unauthorized entry at the edges of the vessel. Some of the Aztec descendants in the group were so moved by the words inscribed on the ark that they shed tears. They were deeply moved and began chanting and singing special phrases that only they could understand. Akuria mate. When this song was chanted, the Mexican team was able to pass through the ancient ark, but the American and Chinese soldiers were blocked from passing. They could only stand and watch. It was as if the ship itself was consciously selecting who could enter based on their genetics and state of consciousness. According to JP, the feeling of time and gravity inside the ark was different, and it felt as if he had stepped into another dimension. The interior was filled with glowing plants and sparkling crystals, creating a mystical space that not only brought deep silence to those who entered it, but also gave an overwhelming emotional impact. JP was one of the soldiers who participated in that mission, and the song he is singing now is full of the powerful words of the Aztecs. This phrase is believed to mean portal between heaven and earth, open. By the way, the area known as the Bermuda Triangle has long been called the Devil's Triangle, with strange rumors dating back decades, stories of planes and ships vanishing without a trace. But according to JP, it's believed that whenever something approaches the ancient ark, the ship becomes active and begins to respond. This could mean that the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle may finally have an explanation. Among those who know JP well, the phrase "Akuriamat" has become almost like a shared language. During the G6 event, he chanted this magical phrase while beating his drum, calling out to the extraterrestrials with focused intent, inviting their ships to appear. At the same time, Elena updated the audience on the current position and activity of the starships, showing a perfect coordination between her and JP. The UFO flyover above the UK this time was captured even more clearly than before. The ships remained visible in the night sky much longer, and it truly felt as though these events are gradually scaling up in both scope and impact. On that day, many people reported feeling a renewed sense of connection with the cosmos and gaining a fresh perspective on the future of humanity. For privacy reasons, we'll keep names confidential, but here are a few brief testimonies from those who were actually there.
This was my first time attending GSIC UK 2025. I was deeply moved to witness the arrival of UFOs, surrounded by so many people with truly beautiful souls. We are not crazy. What we've been saying all along, it's always been the truth. We are not alone. I captured this incredible moment on film. That footage will be a treasure I carry with me for the rest of my life. There were people who didn't believe us, but only those who stayed until the very end, braving the cold and strong winds with courage, were able to witness something even more extraordinary. Being able to take photos and videos together with everyone was a true joy for me. To all those who continue working for disclosure, I send you my love and deepest gratitude. The next step is already here. We are ready for contact now. With love.
I attended the GSIC event in Eastbourne on Saturday 10th and Sunday 11th May 2025. On Saturday night, about 2,000 people gathered on the lawn area and beach near the Wish Tower, waiting for the spaceship to appear in the night sky. The event was organized by Dani Henderson and former U.S. military personnel, JP, who had called for the spaceship to appear in advance. I testify here that I witnessed a real spaceship piloted by our beloved brothers and sisters of the stars. They were working with friendly allies of Earth. Just after 9 p.m., the first spaceship finally appeared. Piloted by a member of the Galactic Federation Space Force, the spaceship slowly approached us over the sea, surrounded by a sphere of glowing energy. Its beauty caused amazement and cheers from the crowd, including me, and thunderous applause. And before our very eyes, the craft suddenly disappeared into the clear night sky. Afterwards, I also saw the legendary TR-3B, a triangular-shaped craft that was once thought to be non-existent. The craft, with 3 glowing engines at its base, looked exactly like the footage I had seen on social media, and now it was right before my eyes. It was an incredible sight. I also witnessed cigar-shaped crafts flying at incredible speeds, multiple crafts flying in formation, and one after the other disappearing at a specific point in the sky. This incredible night sky performance lasted for more than 4 hours. I captured as many awe-inspiring moments as I could until my camera battery ran out. It was truly an honor to see these crafts with my very own eyes. A huge thank you to Dani, JP, and the people who piloted these crafts.
It was a truly magnificent night. I'd seen ships in the sky before, but after that Saturday night event I returned home a different person.
Many people have come forward to share their testimonies like these. Here, we've kept the readings concise for narration purposes, but if you'd like to explore more detailed and accurate witness reports, please visit Elena Danaan's official website. There you'll find numerous UFO videos, including the footage used in this presentation. We also used material from Dani Henderson's YouTube channel, as well as content from Asria Beckham and Myoko Sano's channels. Links to all sources we've referenced are included in the video description below. Feel free to check them out if you're interested. So, what exactly is happening on Earth right now? What kinds of plans are unfolding behind the scenes, beyond what we're allowed to know? From here, we'll begin to explore what lies ahead, guided once again by Elena Danaan, emissary of the Galactic Federation. In our previous video, we explored the truth about extraterrestrial beings known as the Anunnaki, with the first half focusing on the work of Zecharia Sitchin. Before we move forward, allow me to offer a brief clarification regarding that topic. What we're about to discuss next may seem unrelated at first, but everything is deeply connected, so I invite you to stay with us until the end. Our channel has previously featured several videos about Elena Danaan, and we're honored to say that she has personally viewed all of them. In fact, after we released our last video on the Anunnaki, Elena herself reached out to share her thoughts, both from her perspective as a field archaeologist and as an emissary of the Galactic Federation. With her kind permission, we'll now share a portion of her response as part of the accurate information she has provided. If you haven't seen that previous video yet, it's linked right here. Please feel free to check it out when you have a moment. According to Elena, many of Zecharia Sitchin's interpretations were exaggerated and do not reflect the actual truth. For example, she states that the planet Nibiru, as described by Sitchin, does not exist. So then, what was Nibiru? Really? Where did the Anunnaki actually come from? According to Elena, Nibiru wasn't a planet at all. It was a massive spacecraft. Elena explains that while there is a 9th planet in our solar system, it is not the home of the Anunnaki. According to her, the true origin of the Anunnaki is the Sirius B star system. She also clarifies that the popular theory claiming the Anunnaki needed gold to repair their planet's atmosphere was a fictional idea created by Sitchin. This story, she says, is not found on any ancient Sumerian clay tablets or inscriptions. While it's true that the Anunnaki did mine for gold, it was not for the sake of their own planet. They also extracted other resources besides gold. Furthermore, Elena states that it was not Enki and Ninhursag who created modern humans as a labor force. Instead, it was Enlil, along with his team of geneticists who eventually did so. Enki refused to take part in that plan. In fact, Enki and Ninhursag were the ones who activated the genes of modern humans, and they opposed Enlil's agenda. Everything up to this point reflects the insights Elena Danaan shared with us directly, as a response to our previous video on the Anunnaki. She kindly messaged us to clarify some common misconceptions regarding Sitchin's interpretations, offering what she believes to be accurate information. However, while I run this English-language translation channel, I am Japanese, and I do not speak or understand English myself. That's why I've been fortunate to have a bridge, someone who helps me communicate with Elena. As I mentioned earlier, that person is Myoko Sano, a Japanese best-selling author known for translating The Secret, the famous book on the law of attraction. She is also widely recognized around the world as a seeker of truth. Thanks to her, there are times when I'm able to receive profound and insightful information like this. To me, she truly embodies the spirit of a global truth seeker. It was also Myoko Sano who traveled all the way to the UK to witness this historic moment with her own eyes, and who graciously shared the footage with me soon after the event took place. The day before the G6 event in the UK, a glowing orb appeared in the sky, as if welcoming those who had arrived. And now, being able to share this beautiful footage with all of you, it truly is something I'm deeply grateful for. In our last video on the Anunnaki, we mentioned Elena's amazing encounter with Enki, who appeared in her room. But the story didn't end there. Since then, Elena has been in physical communication with Enki, and from that moment on, her vibrational frequency continued to rise. Today, her presence radiates greater intelligence and grace than ever before. Many believe her dignity and refinement are even more pronounced, reflecting her connection to Prince Ea. So, who exactly is Enki? Here's a brief introduction, based on what Elena Danaan has shared. Name: Ea, Enki. Star system: Sirius B. Planet: Ashtari Nibiru. Race: Anak. Appearance: skin, lightened tone, with a bluish hue and a golden radiance. Hair: none. Eyes: pale blue. This being, often referred to as Prince Ea, is known for these distinct characteristics. E, known in ancient times on Earth as Enki, is an extraterrestrial being. He is the heir to the Anak Empire, a being of deep compassion, and is known not only as a geneticist, but also as a cosmic alchemist, one who shares the wisdom of the universe with humanity. Elena has had a very long-standing connection with Ea. In a past life, she lived alongside him as a member of the Anak royal family, under the House of Anu. During that time, the two worked together to genetically activate humanity, the beings known as Kai, and to help protect and uplift humankind. Enki returns to Earth, a new era of human awakening. And now, let us tune in to the frequency of Elena's words as she shares this message.
E always did the best in his power to protect humans of Earth from the despicable agendas and horrible acts of his half-brother Yu, aka Enlil. Unfortunately, Ea never was a warlord. He was a compassionate being with a great heart, a geneticist, an alchemist, but never led armies into battle. So when the ultimate confrontation came between himself and Enlil's reptilian factions, Ea lost the battle and could not come back to Earth until Enlil and his minions would be taken out of the equation, which eventually happened in the end of the year 2021. It was the year Ea came back in September, carrying with him the most beautiful gift of all, the Grail, the original genetic template of the unspoiled Adamic DNA. Ea never ever suggested he was here to activate anyone. This concept of getting people to wait to be activated by external factors, instead of doing the work themselves and embrace organically their awakening of consciousness, is a DS psyop injected into the New Age communities to block the great awakening of humanity. That would be doomsday for the DS. Each sentient being naturally evolves in symbiosis with their planet's natural shift into higher frequencies. No external factor is at play. If someone tells you they are going to activate you, it is wrong and hazardous. EA came back to entice humans to wake up and embrace their own true personal power, activating by themselves their own Kundalini power plant. EA guides you to do it yourselves, the only way it can work. What the DS doesn't want you to do, of course. EA brought the original unspoiled Homo sapiens DNA pattern, which he calls the Grail, to be implemented in specific medbeds to cure genetic diseases and alterations performed on humanity by the DS, to free humanity from genetic enslavement orchestrated by his reptilian half-brother, Enlil. As a cosmic alchemist, Ea respects free will as the fundamental law of evolution, and everyone is free to decide if they want to do it. And for this reason, because we, humans, have the free will to decide for ourselves, EA, Enki's detractors, deep state agents, try to convince you to turn down his help, to stop listening to him, and remain dumb and obedient to the big triangle, and not evolve out of enslavement. The DS is literally terrified of EA. They will do whatever it takes to try discrediting him and all those who speak the truth about him. Always check your sources and the intentions, associations, and frequency they show. Have you been hypnotized and conditioned to follow and blindly believe some clowns on YouTube jumping out of nowhere with no referrals? Rather check instead the true, real historical sources and evidence. Athrahasis, Enuma Elish, Eridu Genesis. Follow the brilliant work of real scholars, such as Mauro Biglino. Forget about Sitchin. And most importantly, Ea says, your heart knows before your mind thinks.
What follows are the words and wisdom of Ea himself. This is a report from Elena Danaan, based on her physical encounters and direct communication with him. So now, I invite you to open your heart and feel the vibration behind the words of Prince Ea, the being once known as Enki.
Since the dawn of time, the people of Kai have been waiting to meet the people of other stars. As soon as key people raised their eyes to the night sky, they felt mystery, fear, and wonder. When we came with the expedition, these people, although primitive culturally, already had a great heart for understanding the universe. They knew that they were part of it, completely, as a whole, as one, sentient beings who live in symbiosis with their natural environment tend to understand its nature. Thus, they are fully aware of their own nature. When we landed, they saw us as the spiritual beings they had prayed to for rain, sunshine, and fertility of the soil, for abundance of hunting. In their eyes, we embodied the gods they believed to exist. I felt immense compassion for their kindness and welcome. They revered us, and we respected their cultural development. In return, we were kind to them and tried not to interfere too much in their lives until the day my half-brother, the commander of this expedition, decided to take advantage of these original humans, and so it all began. What I am saying is this: there will come a time when the people of the Galactic Federation of Worlds in this galaxy will make first contact, an operation for which they have carefully and wisely prepared. On that day, when it happens, you will discover, Kai people, that in your heart still beats the same frequency pulse as that feeling your ancestors had 400,000 years ago when they looked up at the stars and wondered about other life somewhere out there and about the existence of gods. Well, this cellular memory will be triggered again because a cultural shock, even though this operation is well prepared, will be tremendous on all levels. You must prepare yourselves and prepare yourselves well, not to regard the visitors as gods. Not again, please. These people will be biological beings just like you. They have a heart, limbs and fluid in their veins, feelings and deep emotions. They love, they cry, they make mistakes, but overall they are good people. They already love you. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been here all this time, and they wouldn't have fought so hard to make you realize how amazing you are, and to help you free your beautiful world from the claws of the evil reptiles and the Nebu. You are free thanks to these people of the Galactic Federation and your Earth Alliance, as you call it. My message today is to prepare yourselves not to make the same mistakes again. These people are your people. They are your equals in every way, no matter where they were born or what culture they belong to. They are all children of the same universe. You have the same parent, creator source. It is also time for the institutionalized religions to humbly step back and let the men and women of Ki rise as the spiritual beings that they are. I bow to you in admiration for the journey you have taken with resilience and never losing hope. This resilience in life itself is what makes you human. Nothing can destroy you, no matter how hard they try. Receive my love and my blessings for the enthralling future that awaits you.
We've now explored the wisdom of Enki, and according to Elena Danaan, the day is approaching when humanity will make contact with the beings of the Galactic Federation. When do you think that moment might come? According to Elena's most recent information, it will take place between 2025 and 2027. She says that official contact with advanced extraterrestrial civilizations, something Earth humans have long awaited, is finally scheduled to happen within this window of time. But in order for this historic event to take place, one major condition must be met. The dark forces that have been controlling Earth from the shadows, the deep state, must be fully removed. Once that happens, the advanced space technologies that have long been kept secret will finally be revealed to the public. This includes technologies such as the TR-3B, capable of controlling gravity and traveling across the planet in under an hour. Elena says this technology was gifted by the Galactic Federation. Following this disclosure, humanity will step into a new era, an age of direct physical contact with the Galactic Federation. Since 1954, the Galactic Federation has already been working with certain government agencies on Earth, a coalition known as the Earth Alliance. However, their existence was kept hidden from the general public. Now, in the next few years, the doors will finally open, and all of Earth's citizens will have access to the truth. Elena shares that the first race to make contact will likely be those who are genetically and physically similar to modern humans. Later on, other beings with different physical features will also be introduced. And for this reason, Elena says we must learn to stop judging beings based on their appearance. In order for Earth to be welcomed as an official member of the Galactic Federation, our collective consciousness and values must rise to match galactic standards. The visitors from the stars should not be worshipped as gods, but welcomed as equals. as beings who bleed, who smile, and who cry, just like we do. Plans are already underway within the Earth Alliance regarding who will step forward and how this first public contact will be presented to the world. The process has already begun, slowly but steadily, and now it is becoming organized. It will be a remarkable moment in human history, and Elena herself says she can hardly wait for that day to arrive. Are you ready for contact? As Elena's information is vast, technical, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. There are moments when it's hard to keep up, but if we were to describe her simply, the truth is, she herself is Anunnaki. Long ago, she visited Earth as an Anunnaki being. And what's more, she's a time traveler from the Pleiades, 300 years in the future. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and as always, see you in the next video.
It's definitely there.
Yep. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, there.
Oh my God!
That's amazing.
Oh.
I got it.